I'd like to describe myself really as an activist, as an activist fighting for social and racial justice. And I guess as an activist, I first want to pay tribute to fellow activists, and particularly the activist that has brought us here together. Because, you know, these events don't just happen by osmosis or by a magic wand. They happen because somebody has the spirit, the strength, and the tenacity to bring us together. So I want to bring our host back up on stage, Wooley, to take a round of applause, please. Come on, sister. Because this is, first of all, this is a special building. The last time that I was here, I was with my brother at the back there, Pastor Nims. I won't hold you around too much, otherwise your husband knows. Pastor Nims, and we was here in 2010. 2010, just before the German election. And we organized in the space of 3 weeks a meeting for black people. And 2,500 people showed up to say to our elected elite, our political class, we're not asking for justice. We're not asking for race equality. We're demanding it. And we will use our electoral clout to decide whether you win or whether you lose. So this is a special place. But actually, what Wooley has done is created a special space. And in that space over the next few days, I would say there's but one question that we need to ask ourselves. When you leave this conference after a richness of debate, of diversity, of intellect, you head home with one thing. What is my role? What will I do to change the situation for our women, for our people, for our society? It's the man or woman in the mirror. It's down to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Look, there's other activists too. You know, I got a call on Sunday night from my good friend, the Bishop, Bishop Doye. And, you know, when either Pastor Nims or Bishop Doye ask a favor, it's, yes, now what's the question? You don't say no to these brothers. I'd like to say thank you to you, good sir. You've been a stalwart. You've been a stalwart. You've been a stalwart and a good friend. A good friend when often the racist rabid dogs are after us. They try to run us down. They try to undermine us. My brother has always been there. As Pastor Reverend Hargreaves too. Please. Credit where credit's due. Thank you, brother. A good man. We've worked together for many, many years. So this is about us. The next few days is what we will do in our countries. All I want to do in the next 5 minutes is share some of the ideas how we did a number of things. One, we made our communities strong, politically strong. And two, how we ensured in that debate, black women were at the top table, around the seats, gaining the appointments, gaining the positions in power. How did we do that? Well, I guess the first thing we had to do was to realize that we're powerful, that we can do the impossible. This event, what you're doing, my sister, is audacious. It's ambitious in its intent. What is the intent? The intent is to politically, spiritually empower women of African descent, not just in Africa, but across the four corners of the globe. Am I right or wrong? And what she has set out to do is to sew a golden thread through every country, every city, every countryside in Africa and across the globe, to say we are a family of Africans. And within that family of Africans, this is her words, not mine, I want black women to be strong. So, what is the plan? How do we begin the process? Yes, we say that we are beautiful. Yes, we say that there's nothing that can defeat us. But we have to have a project. We have to have an A to Z. For us, there are two things. One, the political empowerment process, that we have to ensure that our communities are registered to vote, that they, as my sister explained, that they understand the democratic process. They understand civic and civil society. We go into schools and we speak to actually black and white children. But when one of our sisters is up there, you see that all the children gain something. But look at the black child. The black child glows when they see my sister up here. The black schoolgirl says to herself, I want to be like her too. I can be like her too. So the inspiration, the education, and then it's about representation. You know, for a long, long time in this country and in the continent of Africa, of course, us men, me not included, have said to women, your job is in the kitchen. Leave politics to us. You bring up the family, we can take care of business. But it is strong women like you who tell, often in this country, the white men in suits, and in the continent of Africa, the black men in suits too. You go in the kitchen. You take the kids to school. We can do politics too. And you know this, for me this is fundamental. When you are around those decision-making tables, there is a dramatic change. Because when you come to the table, which is often all men, when you come there, you bring a history. You bring a history of struggle. You bring a dynamism. You know, often this multitasking, that's on your watch, juggling 100 things at once. And lastly, you bring a sensibility. A sensibility that isn't there unless you're there. The outcome is that we have greater debate. It is more intuitive. It is more knowledgeable when you're there. Nobody's doing you any favors when you're around the table. In fact, your service, your participation enlivens, enriches the debate. But here's where I think that you've got to be forceful in this. It's not going to happen by crossing our fingers. We have to plan for it. Here in the UK, with my organization, Operation Black Vote, what we demanded was to have a conveyor belt of talent. So we said to young men and women like your son and daughter, we said, look, we want you to come, we want you to learn. Who's that? Is that David Cameron? David Cameron wants to know what we're talking about. This is black business, Cameron, you have to wait. What we did, we said, okay, we need to set up mentoring schemes. Mentoring for politics, mentoring for the courts, mentoring for other public appointees. And you know, we've made a conveyor belt of talent. There are two black female ministers in this government. Baroness Saida Varsi and Helen Grant. Only two. They both come from Operation Black Vote schemes. They do. These are young women, and we said, look, you can be a politician, you can be a minister. Now they're in seats of power. So we did it for Westminster, then we did it for the courts. I'm going to round up shortly because we know we've got questions, but I'm on a roll. In the courts too, we said this, look, if we are to rectify the imbalance, then it needs to be 65% women, 35% men. We said that too, to address the imbalance. And I remember, we have a wonderful story, and I'll close on this, that there was a woman who we'd nurtured to become a local judge. And a lot of our local judges' arenas are very white. So she went in there the first day of work with her books, and she went into the back room with all the other staff, and she got a tap on the shoulder by one of the staff who said to her, actually, members of the public should be outside. And she just showed her badge. It didn't show that she was a magistrate, it just showed that she was a member of staff. Afterwards, with the other judges, she took her books and her notes, and in our courts, the judges go through a back room. And as they walked through, she saw the lady who tapped her on the shoulder. She was a clerk of the court. And as befitting our courts, the woman had to bow. And my dear friend, when this occurred after the horrendous moment before, was impassive. But inside she said, yes. Yes. Look, Winine, myself and others are not asking for your success, for your brilliance. We're demanding it. Thank you very much.